So, direwolf summoners, do you think both teams are going to go try to take the center?
Problem with direwolves is it's so slow to get them up in there. You could be in a situation where if you're trying to take that and hold that, because I don't believe both teams had direwolves. Correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
I think they both had direwolves, they both had summoners. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, SLR has two direwolves, three summoners, a griffin, an ember, and a jenner.
And QQ has 3 summoners, a griffin, 2 direwolves, 2 embers. So the difference between their drop decks is a single gemmer. Got QQ, their embers moving into center right now, actually.
Yeah, and it looks like their direwolves spawned in the farther back position, not the one that would go up towards the main road. So I'm curious which way they're going to end up going, because they'll have to. Looks like they'll probably try to go right and get up into the center. Their summoners right now are moving up the main path towards the center. See, SLR actually is not rushing their mechs to the center though. They're sitting farther back, down below where the bridge comes down, and yeah, I think right now that we're going to have is that QQ is going to be pushing the center, where SLR is going to sit on the outside.
Yeah, SLR, they didn't even have one of their lights kind of peek in any of the entrances, I don't think. So now you have both QQ's lights and their summoners well entrenched in the center. So it is theirs to hold for as long as they want it, I would say at this point.
The direwolves have just made it to the center for QQ, and now, yeah, they're going to decide, are they going to hold the position? This position is just not usually very opportunistic if you push into the center against a team that's already there.
No, it would be. It's a very tough map to do that on. Certainly, and especially now that you've got. Well, most mechs would run the seismic sensor. It makes it very hard to even sneak up one of the ramps and make a surprise push in from an entrance the other team isn't expecting. Because as you can see, QQ is pretty spread out around the ring, so it's be very tough to sneak in there on them, especially if you're trying to sneak direwolves. So.
Well, I'm looking at mechs here. Morgan and a summoner with 4 medium lasers Gauss rifle. So it's not a full brawl summoner. Carpentier's taking the same style. Eagle in the direwolf with 2 ERPBCs and 2 Gauss. It's a little bit hot with the ERPBCs, but I think it's pretty manageable with all the heat sinks that it can take on this map.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's certainly the very powerful build if you get somebody running straight at you. It was the before the ERPPC speed nerf. It was by far and away the most popular direwolf build. On the SLR side, I've got their summoners actually with Gauss and ERPPC.
It definitely is in his direwolf is taking 4 ER large and 2 Gauss. Now, something I have actually seen too much of. I don't even know. I don't even know if I've seen this ever been used in competitive play, but I could see that this is why they did not go in the middle.
No, definitely not. That's a very interesting build.
Let's see what his companion there, the other direwolf took. He also took the same config, so they do not want to. They can't push the center with this. I don't think. I think that'll be a little bit too hot. It's good damage, it's excellent damage, but I think it's a little bit too hot, and they know they have a lot of range, and they're probably going to want to use it. It's not, I mean, it's not better range than the QQ has, but it is range, and you're probably less likely to feel comfortable in a brawl.
That's more of a, I don't know, I would feel like that would be a very, very strong build on a map like Alpine, but on this map here, it's an interesting choice. As you can see, they've decided they're going to sit back though and hope for a QQ push, kind of E6, F6 entrance. We'll see if that happens, but as of right now, especially with no strikes, I don't know what really either team's motivation would be to move from where they are.
Well, the motivation for QQ would be that they could feel like they don't have to be in the center to win, so they could be willing to give it up. To try to find a new position to attack from that they also feel like they could do well with, and then if SLR pushed back into the center, then they could basically exchange positions, and QQ could just wait for the draw. So they could leave the center without too much of a problem, as long as they make sure they know where the enemy's at and they find a position. At least they don't have negative expectations.
And QQ does have one of their embers, Python 3. He is out scouting. He is far away from the ring. Could be dangerous if he's spotted by the two SLR lights. Could get jumped. He's got a long way back to get back to his team.
But they're pretty spread out, though. RHoD Black's way on the left. It's a good position. He'll see if they're coming down at all way before, with plenty of time for his team to react. Whereas Mediocre is on the right side, basically doing a little bit of the same. Looks like he might be watching the main bridge. We did see a little bit of fire there. Let's see where Mediocre's at exactly. Okay, he's just perched up on one of these volcanoes, just watching to make sure if they come down that bridge, see it for his team.
Python 3 has now moved into one of the volcanoes. I think he would have seen probably Hybrid Black in the Ember, but I don't believe he would yet see the main body set up there of SLR. And we've actually got some more movement from QQ. They have one of their summoners is moving towards one of the exits.
I think it's an
Peeking
example.
out a little bit there.
Yeah, I think this is an example I was talking about with the strikes. In this case, since you don't have strikes, you're less likely to be able to soften your enemy up at range and then maybe feel more comfortable moving in. You're not going to get that random kill from this far range and then force the other team to engage. So as the time ticks down, I don't know, where are we at right now? Still 8.5 minutes at least left to go. There's plenty of time for something to happen, but as it ticks down even further, teams are less likely to engage. Really can't blame teams for playing a draw strat on Terra Therma. I think it's a great map. I think it offers a lot of possibilities, but it also has locked positions like this where one team owns the center, and makes it difficult to make a decision if you're actually going to try to press an attack.
Absolutely, and I guess the one thing I don't like about it is once a team has taken the center, it's very hard to get even very long-range sightlines on them to do really any damage at all. Most other maps, even if a team has a good spot, there's different angles you could take where from a very long range you can be putting out some damage and be trading a little bit. But team is firmly in the center. It's very hard to get really any damage at all on them, and it's also conversely very hard to get any damage out of the center onto a team that's not coming inside.
Maybe what we need is for the volcano to randomly, at various intervals, start spurting up some lava and do a little bit of random damage.
I like it.
RHoD is engaging a little bit with one of the mechs, but he drops to 86%. Probably nothing serious, but that's a sign there that he can't really sit very comfortably outside there just looking around. I mean, he's only got 4 mediums. Oh, how did his rear get cored? That's interesting. He must not have very much rear armor, but that could hurt later on. I mean, there's one thing that if SLR saw this, something they could do is try to sneak some lights in there, maybe late, and just pick off that mech right when the timer is about to tick down. Take a little bit of work, but it is something that some teams have done in the past. Is basically set up these little sneaky attacks at the end.
The last minute backstab. Yeah, it's a strategy I like. And I do, as far as where SLR is set up, I do like it because that ramp out of the center is kind of the longest straight sightline you could probably find. Yeah, I'm going to say probably on this map. So with their ER large laser builds, I guess that's where you want to be set up with those builds on this map. And I think it's now safe to say that QQ knows full well where the SLR body is. They're massed up on the ramp closest to there, and are seeing the Goss and the ER large lasers come out from there.
I think Morgan was a little bit adventurous there. He's at the top of the bridge area. He jumped up in the air and looking for shots, but I mean, it's a summoner. It's not going to die that easily. But the 2 Dire Ul sitting there with 8 ER large and 4 Gauss combined could do a bit, and they also have the summoners. PPC Gauss. I mean, it doesn't. If they all landed some shots.
Trade-off when all you have to shoot back with is a single Gauss. The cost benefit trade-off is probably doesn't favor for those shots.
You can see where QQ has actually got their mechs spread out. They're not very comfortable with just holding a single position, I think, because they don't have their lights out there finding them. At least especially on the left side here. So now Drunkenuk is launching down the left side of the outside of the volcano.
SLR is actually moving their 3 summoners, all with running, who are all running Gauss and ERPPCs, up towards the edge of the bridge, maybe seeing if they can sneak some damage on one of these mechs that have been hurt a little bit. So that would be Rygat or Morgan, the 2 summoners that have taken a little bit of damage. On the SLR side, there's really been no damage at all taken.
Yeah, I like this because if one of those other mechs just tries to come out, doesn't notice them, that's 3 mechs. It's a lot of damage, and they have the direwolves sitting back enough that direwolves will be able to contribute.
I would imagine the drop commander over on the QQ side, though, has now loudly yelled at his guys that there should be no more peeking. So it looks like QQ is just basically holding position on the inside. They've done a nice play where they've split up their mechs on either side of that entrance, so that they've got an immediate pinch on SLR if they were choose to push inside. But I think just based on what we know to be the loadouts on the SLR mechs, it would be very surprising if they did move in anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're thinking, right? QQ set up so that they're ready if SLR tries to push in, but I wonder with some of these mech positions if these summoners might be able to get some shots on them. Like, can they get shots on Morgan? There is some open angles there, perhaps, for the summoners.
They did get a decent shot on Kinetics, brought them down to 89%, and you can see they're taking basically no return fire. So smart decision by SLR so far to push their summoners up, get shots into the inside there.
Kinetics did lose the left arm, so that's a big part of that percentage, and that arm is not, Pre-Bio just had 0 armor on it.
Less symmetrical now, though, so don't understate how important symmetry is, I guess.
Funny thing is, we haven't had that many draws in the Open Division this season. We saw a little bit more in the Premier Division, and even in the EU Division, we didn't see that many draws. But if this ends the draw, it might just show where these teams are at. It could be a little bit of nerves. It could be, okay, this is the first drop, and it's important. We want to win this, and less likely to take a risk. Where if it's just one drop in a match throughout the season, you might be more willing to take a risk.
Yeah, and that's absolutely could be it. Or I mean, it could be just the a situation where the 2 teams beforehand. One of the great things about these private lobbies is we now always know the maps we're dropping on beforehand, which I think is great. It allows for a lot of strategies to be developed before you even get into the game. Both teams might just came up with strategies that just unfortunately haven't so far had an intersecting battle yet. But
SLR is moving their direwolves up. They were sitting farther back, and now they're coming up the path towards the bridge. I wonder if they're actually going to try to do something here.
It is kind of surprising because I do kind of feel like a well-coordinated push by QQ where they don't take too much damage coming out that bridge. I feel like they have the better brawling builds, certainly on their both on their summoners and let's say their direwolves as well. 4 ER leverage laser and 2 Gauss is, I believe, going to be running.
They're coming through.
They're pushing in.
Oh, here we go.
They got
bring up the percentages here.
One of their direwolves leading the charge, down to 72% on Deathly Eyes.
His left torso is crit, and they are coming all the way in now. The push is on. He loses that, and he drops instantly. Wow. Nice job by Python. Takes him down, and QQ is up 1-0. Trying to see who maybe they're trying to push. It looks like they're trying to focus on this left side on Morgan on the Summoner, who is crit CT and is missing its left leg and should be dropping pretty soon here. But Chairborne Ranger is legged and left leg is also crit.
We've got another down on SLR side. Hybrid Black goes down, and a third down. So we're now 4 mechs down on the SLR side. So QQ is winning this fight.
At 25.
Now we've got
Mediocre
4 mechs
looks
down on
stuck in the Jenner here. It's probably dropped down pretty quickly.
New target
Yeah, Rygot's down to just 2 medium lasers there for QQ.
destroyed.
But
Down
3
to
to 5
only
now.
3 mechs left on the SLR side. Pepsi won
What just
in the
happened?
Griffin is.
Oh, timed out. I didn't even realize the time was at 0. Wow. That's an interesting move. So QQ does take the first drop. 5 mech. They destroyed 5 mechs. SLR destroyed 3 mechs with that late push by SLR.